ones, welcome to another episode of the Moon Day Oracles. Today is Monday, April 21st, and these oracles are going to be all the way up until April 27th. So we've got a big week ahead of us. We have the first thing off the bat to mention is that the Grand Cross, an astrological sort of phenomenon known as the Grand Cross, is peaking in its intensity on April 23rd, so this Wednesday. The Grand Cross is sort of an intersection, a cross being made with four, I'm not going to get too into the details, but sort of four cardinal signs creating tension. So it's an actual thing that's happening in the skies around us. And we're finding ourselves, I love this report that I read from an astrologer. It's kind of like we're in the middle of this cross. And since we have sort of opposing planets and opposing energies, it's almost like everybody's fighting and you're right in the middle of it. And maybe they're not fighting, but they're disagreeing and they're trying to get to a resolution and there's tension. And we're right in the middle of it, being us beautiful earth beings. And so the cross is actually happening from January to July, but right now this week is its absolute peak. So all of that tension, all of that upheaval of that stress or anxiety, sadness, chaos is sort of coming up and out this week especially. So if you are feeling like something's going on, like something's about to happen, if you're feeling oddly irritated by things you wouldn't usually be irritated about, or if you're experiencing sadness, or on the other hand you're experiencing great joy coming up and great power, it's all sort of a sign of the times. So the main things to note about that is basically a lot of our shadow stuff, the things that we haven't fully looked at in the last say 6 months. It could be for our whole lives, but especially recently, will be more visible to us now. So this really means it's a great opportunity to implement the lessons that you've been learning in the last year, 2 years, etc. So for me right now, I'm really being challenged to implement my lessons of allowing and being flexible that I learned last year from moving and living out of my car and traveling for 5 months trying to find a great spot. I really had to learn the art of patience and allowing and just trusting that the flexibility would eventually lead me to something great. And I'm feeling like that's what I need right now, that having learned those lessons last year, I really need that in my life because I'm going through some transformations and transitions again. So I'm really being called to be flexible and allow all of these emotions that are going through me, just trusting that it's guiding me to something better or where I want to be. So you can ask yourself, what's coming up for me right now in my life, and have I been learning any lessons that I can apply to these feelings or this situation? That's what the Grand Cross is all about. It's about allowing the transformation to take place, and while we're in the thick of it, honoring the lessons that we've been learning so it's easier for us. It doesn't necessarily need to be a super challenging or difficult time, but it will be for many of us. But really, it's all about allowing the transitions to occur. Before I started recording the video, I was working with my guides, asking what messages wanted to be channeled through for this week. And the first message was, great chaos always precedes great change. So we're in the thick of that great chaos this week. We've been building up to it in the last two Moon Day oracles. I've been really mentioning this time coming about, and here we are sort of in the thick of it, and things will get a little bit easier sort of at the end of next week, or we'll see. It'll be different for all of us, but it'll be getting really cool and better from here on out. So that's the thing to keep in mind. Great chaos always precedes great change. If you're renovating your house, it turns into a disaster before it gets beautiful. If you're cleaning your room, you have to take everything out, sort through everything that you don't want. It looks way messier for the first little while than it does at the end, right? So just keep that lesson in mind, and see if you can be flexible enough and conscious enough to bring in your lessons from the previous years to help you through the intense energy and the intense power this week. This week is also very powerful, though. There's a lot of energy, so my challenge for everyone this week is to engage in ritual. So some of you might have practiced ritual before, and for some it might be new, although all of us have practiced ritual, because ritual is simply when action meets intention. Um, so I'll give you some examples. So the rituals sort of that I'm talking about are that more like um, the feminine rituals, the witch rituals. Um, a good ritual, a simple ritual, could be something as simple as clearing your energy field with burning sage, or something like cedar branches. So a beautiful cedar is a really beautiful protective and cleansing plant, as well so is sage. And so you can either burn sage, or you can actually use cedar and you don't have to burn it, and just go like this in your aura, in your auric field, with the intention. So this is the physical action. We're using physical tools and ritual for the most part. And we're also bringing the intention in. So with this, if this was my ritual this week, because there's added power in the cosmos, there's added power to our rituals, I would have the intention in my mind, or I'd speak it aloud. Thank you for clearing and cleansing my energy field. Cedar, thank you so much for releasing any fear or lower vibrations from my energy field now. Thank you for purifying me, opening me to more light, etc., etc. Whatever your prayer is. Some more examples are, I have a candle going on back there. I could write down a list of what I would like to give up or release, in terms of my habits, or in terms of fears that I'm going through, and ritualistically burn it in the flame, intending that with that ritual, with that ceremony, I would be released of these patterns, or I would have help in releasing these patterns. A great ritual I did, was it yesterday I did this, or the day before? I think it was 2 days ago. I took some with a friend of mine. We went into the forest and went our separate ways, and we both had 3 rose petals. I had 2 red and 1 pink, beautiful rose petals. I first went to the forest, said a prayer to the forest, asked for help in one specific area of my life, left the petal as an offering, and the petal was charged with my prayers, and I left it in the forest, trusted that the guardians of the forest heard my prayers. Then I went to the ocean, and with the other 2, same thing. I said my prayers and my intention into the rose petal, and I let them go into the ocean, and then I did the last one with a different prayer and a different intention, and released it into the ocean. So those are just some ideas. That's a little bit more of an in-depth ritual, but those are just some ideas of rituals that you could get into this week. Rituals can be very, very simple. They could be as simple as having a beautiful sea salt bath, and your intention would be to relax and to let go of stress. They can be anything. You can make up your own rituals. There's been a lot of traditional rituals that have been done for hundreds of years. Even rituals that the church, breaking bread, sacraments, those are all rituals. So rituals are an ingrained part of our culture. They're an ingrained part of our human expression. So my challenge for you this week is to, with all of this extra energy in the cosmos, it can be frustrating, it can be great, it can be challenging, whatever is coming up, it's probably going to be powerful. So channel that extra energy into a ritual, and have fun with it. Rituals are really powerful, and I'd actually, before I sort of let you go for the week and let you decide what your ritual is going to be, I would love to share a story of something that happened after a ritual that myself and my good friend Madeline McKinnon, who's a nutritionist, did last year. It was really cool, and I just feel like it'll be really interesting for you guys. So last year, it was around this time, it was June, it was a new moon. So new moons are great for setting intentions. We went out and did a dance, an ecstatic dance, at a workshop. So we danced our bodies. Ecstatic dance is when you put on music, there's a group of you, and you just go wild and you express yourself. And we were led through earth, air, fire, water, ether, through this dance. So we were moving our bodies, closing our eyes, just going crazy, allowing everything to move through us. And we came back to our little, we were staying in a sort of a nature hostel in a beautiful valley on Vancouver Island at this time. And we shared a room, and there was 2 beds in it. And we came home, and we were setting intentions for what we'd like to create later on in our lives. we wanted to create it right now in our lives, but it was an intention for let's bring this into our lives in the future. So one by one, we lit a candle, we invoked our ancestors, we invoked our spirit animals, and by this point, you could feel the sort of the thickness of that sacred energy in the air. And we wrote what we wanted to create in our lives. We read it out, and we burned it in the flame. And then she would say what she wanted, burn it in the flame. I would say what I wanted, burn it in the flame. And burning it in the flame again was that release to the divine, the release to the ancestors, the release to the spirits that says, we trust you, it's in your hands now. Our job is to simply clearly intend. And so we ended the ceremony. It was really beautiful. We went to bed, and around like 3 or 4 in the morning, Madeline says, Beth, do you hear that? And I was like super sleepy, and I was like, well, I don't care. What are you talking about? And so she's like, I hear something. I'm going to flip on the lights. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I kind of want to sleep. It's pitch black, but that's okay. So she flips on the lights, and there's a bat in our room. There's a bat flying around a really tiny room, just circling, and swooping. And we just were tripping out because we were like fresh nature girls. We just moved out of the city a couple months before that, so we were like, oh my God. And like 30 seconds later, another bat comes out. So there's 2 bats. Bats are super sacred, mystical, almost like just incredibly powerful animals. There's 2 bats swooping around our room. We have no idea how they got in there. Obviously, they did somehow. There's bats that exist and rooms that exist, so they can go together. But it was just a really cool experience having put that much energy into a ritual and seeing the messages from the other world come through. So when I mean ritual, I mean let's get sacred, let's connect with the spirit world, let's use our divine feminine powers to create what we want in our lives, let's intend for the things that we want to create, let's use the energy of the cosmos to channel it into what we'd like. So my challenge for you is to perform a ritual of some sort this week. I give you a bunch of ideas. You can do anything. You can look online for extra ideas. Either way, there is no right or wrong answer. Whatever you feel in your heart would be a good ritual for you and a good intention to create for you is perfect. I would love it if you could leave a comment below and let me know what is your intention and what is your ritual going to be this week, and just jot it down and let me know. I would love to hear what your ideas are. So with this week, have the best, it's actually Earth Week, so have the best Earth Week ever. I'm excited to be hosting an event tomorrow with the local nonprofit and Women for Whales, or an organization I work with tomorrow. Very environmental, fun event, so if you're in the Tofino area, check that out. So I'm really looking forward to this week. I'm really looking forward to the rituals that are going to be happening. Leave a comment below, and I will definitely be sure to let you know what rituals I get up to this week as well. Lots of love!